Respected jury panel, IIA office bearers, and fellow architects, warm greetings to everyone. Our project, TKM Heritage, entails the adaptive reuse of the historic TKM house, also known as the Thangal Kunju Musliar House, recognized as the inaugural concrete structure in Kollam. TKM was a visionary, educationalist, and an industrialist. He was a founder of TKM Group of Institutions, TKM College, and founded a newspaper in 1944 called Prabhatam. The construction of the project commenced in 1929, with the first phase being completed by 1931, marking it as the first concrete structure in Kollam. In terms of architectural style, the project initially followed more of the Indian Art Deco. Art Deco in India emerged in Mumbai in the early 1930s, yet it is possible that TKM, who have traveled extensively during that era, drew inspiration from its origins in France in the 1920s. The project utilized construction materials imported from abroad, with laborers reportedly sourced from Lucknow. If you stroll through the streets of Kollam, you'll come across numerous buildings inspired by Art Deco, as you can see for some examples. The second phase of the project began in 1954, deviating from the initial style to embrace a more traditional Kerala architectural design. This phase incorporated elements such as a courtyard, veranda, sloped roof, and reflecting a typical traditional home setup. In 1966, following his passing, the building's use was limited to the ground floor. After the death of his third wife in 2010, the entire building was abandoned until 2015, when it was inherited by Akbar Musliar and his son, Mr. Khadeeja Musliar, the great-grandson of TKM. They attempted to repurpose and generate income from the property, reaching an agreement with a prominent restaurant in 2016. As part of the project, modifications were made to the project structure, particularly on the ground floor. The courtyard was eliminated. The old roof structure was altered, and interior walls were erected to create a restaurant, kitchen, and toilet section. Unfortunately, or fortunately, the project was abandoned, and the property remained unused until 2022. In 2022, they presented us with a concise client brief. Their goal was to monetize a part of the property while retaining a section of the temporary residence until the home construction was completed, possibly converting it into a tribute with financial benefits. To meet their needs, we developed a tailored program with functional requirements. Initially, we separated the property into commercial and residential volumes. With two adjacent roads, we created separate entrances, one from the main road for the commercial area and a new one from the side road for the residential section. While seeking a suitable tenant for the commercial space, we focused on transforming the residential section. The first and second floors were converted into a versatile 3 BHK residence for the client, with future potential for conversion into a heritage boutique stay for family and guests. Upon completing the initial phase, a tenant, Serene Derm and Cosmetic Clinic, showed interest in the commercial space after being impressed by the project's progress. This led to them entrusting us with their project. We now present both projects as a cohesive whole. We have enhanced the ground floor by opening up the walls on the front side, allowing more light and views to come in. The lobby, reception, and administration room are located at the front. Adjacent to the entrance, a new pharma store named the Derma Store is accessible from outside. A glass detail was added to transform the sit-out into the Derma Store. On the rear side, a new entrance to the residential area was constructed. Additionally, a new car park for 3 cars, a new lift core, and a new sit-out were included. Some layout adjustments were made indoors. The majority of the new elements are in glass to preserve the building's character with a touch of modernity. The old toilet on the first floor was originally positioned on the southeast side near the back entrance. Due to its proximity to the new lift core and the rear staircase, the old toilet and shower space were transformed into a formal living area. To accommodate a new bedroom and toilet, some walls were added within the existing layout, which involved transforming it into a formal living area. The entrance to the toilet features a transition space for easy access from the common area. The primary area on the first floor is a spacious hall housing the family living room, dining area, and a small kitchen. We aim to introduce a new design language, slightly contemporary for the design details and dining spaces. The lacquered glass finishes and other modern elements incorporated into this project were inspired by a tribute to the visionary who always embraced the latest technology and design trends. This is a living room that has been created on the first floor. A few remnants and images related to TKM were displayed in this area, including a stamp issued by the central government in his honor. Efforts were made to minimize disruption or damage, leading to the creation of new electrical wiring conduits with casing and custom wooden boxes with old flip switches. The sofa in the living room was a refurbished piece dating back 80 years. The old concrete floor was polished and waxed where feasible, while SPCs were utilized in areas where a new floor finish was necessary. All the furniture was custom made to complement the project's timeframe and design aesthetic. On the second floor, we incorporate 2 bedrooms and a common room, which is now the kids' study space. There was a large balcony that was as spacious as a first floor hall. This area has been transformed into the master bedroom with a curved wood and glass wall dividing it into sleeping area, study space, and a shared passage. The original staircase inside the building core was kept to link the first and second floors internally. We utilized stains, polishes, and wax to enrich the appearance of the aged wall finish. The terrace area has been converted into an evening patio lounge, which can also be used as a gathering space. The city view we get from the space is amazing. We transformed the old water tank into a landscape water feature complete with a koi pond, making it the focal point of the area.
The every detail we crafted was done with respect to the space and philosophy, seamlessly integrating modern elements into the historic while enhancing the traditional charm and essence of the surrounding. The contemporary aspect integrated into the projects were influenced by honoring visionary who consistently embrace the newest technology and design trends. The image represents the outer appearance of the building, where we aim to create permeability on the ground floor. The second floor originally featured a semi-open balconies with trellis serving as a handrail, which was transformed into windows with design elements that enhance the overall aesthetics. This area is the lobby space we mentioned earlier. The roofing members were kept intact, and the quality was improved by our bottom HPL layer and the soft ambient lighting. Our design of this area took into account the needs of a derma cosmetic clinic and its clients. The image in the top right shows a sit-out near the back entrance, while one in the bottom left depicts the new pathway from the car park to the elevator and sit-out. Moreover, the seating on the front of the elevators TKM all bathtub that he used daily, while the wall decor consists of transformed trellis that previously used to cover the rear staircase. The project focus on detail also includes the custom-made exterior light finishes. The goal of the project was not to preserve the TKM house. The client aimed to maintain the significance of TKM while ensuring the project was financially viable. Therefore, our strategy focused on preserving the intangible values of vision of TKM, incorporating them into design without compromising quality. This approach aimed to maintain the integrity of structure by embodying the visions and the thoughts of TKM that offers a tangible connection with the future generations. These are a few more details. This was the second floor, trellis, handrails. We documented the building, like entire spaces, everything.
Kindly move on to the Q&A session.
Thank you for clarification of the brief here, because you did mention that the residence is a private residence, but when I was having this conversation with the clients, they said they would be soon moving out of it and it would be converted into a B&B probably in a month, would have happened till now. So I want to understand that when you approached it, did you approach it keeping it as a private residence in mind, or as a more commercial setup needed for a B&B?
Actually, it was a more commercial setup which was kept in mind, because like we tried to keep the kitchen spaces, like if it was for a private residence, more elaborate, but here we tried to keep it minimal as a common space, and also the bedrooms in a way that they can be individually rented out, as well as like if a whole group comes along, we can be given out like a whole service apartment or like a heritage boutique stay. But while they want to stay during that one course of year, they should feel it as a home as well. So both was trying to be balanced on the site on for that particular project. That was our residential core.
Sure, thank you.
This is just a general question. I think it's a pretty intensively dealt with project. Lot of different layers that have been deciphered, but quite freely assumptions of what conservation really limits one to do, and those assumptions are taken forward in a way as to what the old man would have loved. So I think that's my observation on the project. Given that, I think the larger discussion as architects that we have, is about new overlays. And how does one choose those overlays? And what are those elements that you would have preferred to keep and move on? Also making it more contextual climatically over time. So this is an open question I'm leaving you with. I don't expect an answer to it. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Well, more of a comment. I think somewhere in the project, this line between conservation, restoration, and the context, somewhere those lines, do you really think they've been carried forth as part of your, what you have produced?
Ma'am, we more of like it was an adaptive reuse project, and it was the visions which we tried to re-establish more than the physical. But like we tried to take over whatever like we could on that particular project, but we to incorporate the functionality part, and the monetary was one primary aim of this particular project, because unless other than that, this project wouldn't have happened. So that was also considered, and the adaptive reuse phase took over that sense and phase of that project.
So if I ask you for one single strength of your project, which reflects continuity and change?
So once more, ma'am, sorry.
One single strength of your project which reflects conservation in terms of continuity and change. That's what the project is about, talking about adaptive reuse. So one strength.
It's about how, as said earlier, like the vision being taken over in the physical spaces, how we try to merge both.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot.